move it. Well, I think number 10's a showcase. It isn't seen by all that many people, quite a few see it, but it's certainly a very good showcase for British art. I made a habit of taking luncheon guests, dinner guests, reception guests around to have a look at the art on the walls of number 10. And it's a very useful icebreaker apart from anything else. Undoubtedly my favourite was the Bonington, the Normandy coast. That is a lovely painting. And I enjoyed it for several reasons. It has a wonderful splash of colour in the middle of it. But also, from wherever you stand in that room, you could move to any part of the room and see the painting from a different angle. And it had a degree of depth in it, as you looked at it from different angles, that I think I have very rarely, if ever, seen in a particular painting. So I loved that. That was the painting to which I always took my guests first and said, this is my favourite. And the other painting that I really enjoyed was the Lavery, Lady on a Safety Tricycle, which has beautiful colours, some lovely movement. And I found both of them immensely relaxing paintings to look at, comfortable to be with, relaxing to look at, and I never tired of looking at either of them. So those were my two favourites, I think, by some measure. The Badminton Game by David Inshaw is a very attractive picture. The light in it, the light and shade in it, I found very attractive. The movement of the game, together with the background, seemed to me to be very striking against the anteroom of the first floor of Downing Street, outside the study. It had movement to it, it had feel. It had an ancient British sport, which is always dear to my heart. It isn't the sport that is most dear to my heart. The W.G. Grace portrait was in the study. But nonetheless, for all those reasons, it appealed to me. But I did like the use of light. I thought it was very attractive. It looked both good in daylight and in artificial light, and that isn't always the case.
John Major's selection of paintings, which were landscapes, presented a somewhat idealised view of the way things are. A landscape that glows with optimism, with freshness.
What is wrong with having an idealised view? I dare say that wasn't the way everybody played in earlier years when that particular picture was painted, but some did. And I see nothing wrong with idealising a country of which one is fond. I enjoyed the Winifred Nicholson. I thought she was a more significant art figure than many people. I rather have the impression she influenced other people rather than being, as one art critic I think called her recently, a mere brushstroke in the history of art. I thought she was rather more significant than that. I gather poor Winifred has been moved out of number 10 now. I'm not quite sure why, but I think that's a shame.
Minister, you might like to see some of the works that have recently come back within the last year.
Come back from on loan?
From on loan, yes. Three of them were in Michael Howard's office, and the far one on the top left was in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries.
Pre-BSE, was it?
Probably, and of course you can understand why it's not gone out at the moment.
Who did it by? It's actually rather splendid.
James Ward.
Splendid.
He's a well-known animal painter, 19th century.
The things which are completely out of fashion now are hunting scenes. Fox hunting, obviously. There's all the news about fox hunting and hare coursing, whatever it's called. That kind of thing is completely verboten at the moment. So we've got a few things on the racks which have come back from offices. They'll probably come back into fashion in a few years' time.
Robin Cook,
yeah. Because things are going out soon, aren't they?
These are the prints we thought might go down quite well. There's a few of those.
Yeah.
With his interests in horse racing and as a racing tipster.
He's a racing tipster, isn't he? Yeah.
All Derby winners.
Yeah, as long as they were winners, that's all right.
All right.
Wow! I don't think I've seen this.